yourself.
Hey, everybody. It's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Conowitz, and with me, as always, and kind of this time, is Bradford Oman.
Hey, that's me. I'm far away in a mystical land called Utah.
With the home of the Utes.
Yes, there are a lot of Utes here.
From the movie that I'm talking about, which is...
Cousin Vinny.
Yay!
My Cousin Vinny.
Okay, I was making sure you got that. Good for you, buddy.
Hey, I like movies.
Proud of you. With us, as always, as well, Mr. Nate Laux.
I thought you were going to say the Mormon to your Ute. Yes, I am here, and I am excited about being here. I've missed you guys. I know it's only been a week.
I was going to say the Utah to my Indiana, but that's slamming Utah. And I didn't want to slam Utah because I do love Utah.
No, Utah, very kind people.
Yeah,
very
nice people.
I worry a little bit that Brad is there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that to rub off on them.
They're going to keep him. Or he's going to come back with that Utah attitude, all nice and shit.
Yep, I'm going to bring cookies and a sack full of toys.
So, said that I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up. Last week was a little bit of a rougher episode because I had a couple of friends on that don't watch movies, and that's my fault. Corey is a good friend of mine, but I kind of begged him to be on the show, and he was like, dude, I don't watch movies. I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. And then, maybe next time I'll listen to my friend Corey.
I thought we had one rule here in that there's only one guy that sucks at movie podcasting, and that's me. I've already filled that role, buddy.
Also, it's really funny to me that you had to beg him to be on. You know, it's like Michael Jordan begging Dale Earnhardt Jr. to play basketball with him.
Well, thank you for calling me Michael Jordan, buddy. That really means a lot to me.
Say that's like the highest.
That's compliment. A really high compliment.
Hey, listen, I'm going to insult you and compliment you at the same time. So
I think Utah is rubbing off on him because that's literally the nicest thing he's ever said to me.
I don't know what to do right now.
I can't even think. What podcast is this?
He just sent me a heart emoji.
What the fuck, Brad? Are you okay?
Complete me.
Okay, guys, check the door. I just door dashed you some cookies.
You know what, Brad? Stay in Utah for everybody.
This is really working out for us.
We're loving this. So anyway, welcome you first timers. It's a movie podcast where we talk about the latest movies that we've been assigned to each other, and also the latest movies we've seen. Other than that, and we talk about some trailers, and it's gonna be great. Brad, I know that you're all the way out in the wonderful land of the Utes.
Do they have movies there, Brad?
Do they have number one? Do they have movies?
They have one theater, and it just plays "It's a Wonderful Life" over and over again.
Regardless
of whether it's Christmas.
Do they have sponsors?
They do have sponsors.
And did you bring a sponsor today?
Is it like Aunt Millie's
chocolate bombs or whatever that was?
You know what? No, today is just an old-fashioned favorite sponsor of mine.
Milk.
You know, we
from the udder. Milk.
We all love Christmas. We all love Christmas snacks. And one of my favorite Christmas snacks that comes around every holiday season is the Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. How do you guys feel about those?
I don't know that I've...
Yeah, I don't think since I was like 11 I've had one.
Oh, my goodness, guys. You need to go to the store and pick yourself up a box of these because they are a Yuletide favorite of mine, and I get one box every year. Usually have it several weeks before Christmas is here, and they're gone. And I had a big one today that I got at the store. It's already gone, but that's the sponsor for today.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna munch it into the microphone because I enjoyed it today and it was delicious.
I thought that maybe you're gonna be like, and look inside the futon and the couch because I left some for you.
Wouldn't that have been so fun?
Yeah, it would have been really a lot of foresight would have gone into that.
Get your own fucking snacks.
Well, thanks to the Little Debbie people.
Yeah, no, it's for sincerely and utterly writing the check. Little Debbie, here's to you.
So I had a friend from elementary school, and his dad was a Little Debbie delivery driver, and so we got to go over.
Did that turn you on? Oh,
so no, here, Brad.
Oh, nice.
Go on.
I'm telling you, it was an unlimited supply of Little Debbies. Literally,
So the man stole from his job.
Unbelievable amounts. Like it was like whenever we be like, he was my best friend. I spent the night over there all the time in elementary school. And like whenever we were hungry, we just go to his dad's truck and like, hey, let's take some more Little Debbies. And
that's probably illegal.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm pretty sure they have like an inventory they have to keep track of.
Here's the thing.
Ryan's truck just keeps coming up. 47 Christmas trees light.
Now that I'm sharing this story, I can see that there's some issues.
On a similar note, though not as
not as illegal.
Our friend of the pod, Sarah Gurecki, and we've had Katie Gurecki on as well. I think we had Lizzie Gurecki on too, actually.
What about Dr. Gurecki?
Yes, so he hasn't been on, no. But no, their family, their house was used in a Pizza Hut commercial some years ago. And because of that, they get free Pizza Hut whenever the hell they want it. So like there would be times when we would be over at the house and they would just order pizza, however much pizza they wanted, and they would just get it for free.
There was like a Pizza Hut black card?
I mean, I don't know if it was a card or if like
how do you hey, the people told me I get free pizza, and the like poor like 16-year-old that works there is like
So
all right.
The way that it worked at Albano's Pizza when I was an employee there,
it's a hometown pizza place for those.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's not a national chain. I forgot it. For you people in New Zealand, Albano's, go to your local store. But there's a roofer in town that did a roof on the building, and then he just asked to get paid in pizza. And so he would just come in and everybody knew who it was. And he was just like, oh, he's here. And he was just like, whatever it was. And he would go into the manager's office and write down the total and like do the math and be like, this is how much he has left. That was the official system.
That's hilarious.
It was crazy. And so you saw years of pizza orders from just total after total. Years. It was awesome.
Years.
Well, I still think having a friend that's dad's a Little Debbie guy wins. So
yeah, Brad, try to one up his story again. We failed. I'm sorry.
I mean, Pizza Hut's pretty good.
Yeah. But I got the Little Debbie.
But yeah, it wasn't like the roofer came in and was like, hey, Ben, by the way, pizza on me. That never happened.
You want to slice this, buddy?
How much pizza did you get, Brad?
I mean, I would say like one out of every like 4 times I was at the Gureckis, they would probably order Pizza Hut. So,
that's pretty, so Nate's first, you're second, I'm a distant third. Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair. Much like life.
As it goes.
Excuse me, coughing into the microphone. Who wants to start here? Brad, you know what? Let's start with you, buddy. What's either the last movie? Do you want to do assignments first? Let's do assignments first.
Sure. All right.
Who assigned you this?
Did I assign you a movie? Who assigned you?
Yeah, Nate assigned me a movie. He assigned me The Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Yes, I did give you that one.
Yes,
right.
Yes, you did. Funnily enough, this was a movie that you brought up a long time ago, and I didn't believe that it was a real movie because it sounded like a phony, made-for-TV religious Christmas movie starring Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
But it's actually a very real movie from 2018, directed by Robert Tonelli. It stars Skylar Gisondo, who you might recognize as playing Ben Stiller's son in one of the Night at the Museum movies. He was also in the newest Vacation movie with Ed Helms as their son. He was also in
Righteous Gemstones.
Yes, Righteous Gemstones as well. And for the long time Air Bud fans out there, he's also the voice of B-Dog in movies such as Treasure Buddies, Santa Buddies, Space Buddies, and Snow Buddies.
Obviously.
So,
of course.
So please add that to the history of Air Bud on this podcast. But yeah, so this is I watched the trailer after you told me about this because I wanted to see what it actually was, and it felt like something that was right up my alley. It feels like a coming of age indie kind of Christmas story. Focuses on this Italian family. Skylar Gisondo plays this kid who's about ready to go off to college. He wants to go to art school, but he's not feeling too confident about telling his dad, who wants him to take over their fish market shop in town. And it's in this small town in that feels like, it honestly reminded me of South Bend. Did you feel like that, Nate?
Yeah, it's like a river. It's like a Rust Belt river town. So it could be many places in Pennsylvania. It could be South Bend. It could be river area, like a Ohio River area in Ohio kind of thing. But yes, it feels very blue collar, very Rust Belty. Yep. Yeah.
And this is a very lovely movie, very nice movie. I didn't fall in love with it only because I felt like I wanted there to be a little bit more of a connection between the main character and his father to really like create a little bit more of a significant relationship, because the stakes for him telling his dad about going to school didn't really feel like there was much there to grasp onto to like actually care about it. They make you care more about the budding romance with this girl who is basically from the rich side of town. They call her a cake eater. And so there's a budding romance here among the coming of age stuff as well. But it's really
from
just
Jumanji.
Like,
I forget what her name is, but she's from
Jumanji. She also plays kind of the the like rich, kind of snobby white girl in Jumanji as well. So it's just to me, I just felt like this was like a nice like charming family hangout movie. At times, I wished the script was a little more polished and it was like a little bit funnier, but at the same time, I also kind of appreciated just like how low key it was and how like it almost felt like a movie that would have come out like in like the late 70s or sometime in the 80s, where like you just spend time with this family and there's not like any huge peaks or valleys as far as like drama and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a very nice movie. I enjoyed it for sure.
And what I love about it too is it is very cultural, right? The Feast of the Seven Fishes is a thing that Catholics in that area do. It is so it's named after this essentially this Advent / Christmas, heritage thing that people do for food. I agree with you, Brad. I think they probably could have made a better decision of where they wanted the most conflict to be in the film, because there's obviously economic conflict between the haves and the have-nots. There's familial conflict. There's even cultural kind of,
sure.
Grandma doesn't speak English barely kind of thing,
and she's very much against someone who's not a Italian Catholic.
Yeah. But for a Christmas movie, came out just a couple years ago, I thought it kind of went under the radar, and it was a pretty good film to go under the radar, honestly. And I've put it in my Christmas list of movies I watch each season now. So
yeah, not bad at all. If you want to seek it out, you can watch it on Peacock, or it's on for free on Hoopla, which is a library-driven service. It's on a bunch of the ad-driven streaming services. So yeah, feel free to seek it out. Ben, what did you watch?
I watched Klaus.
Oh, who gave you that?
I believe it was you.
You haven't seen Klaus yet.
I mean, I have now.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love Klaus.
I watched it today.
Oh, did you?
Because I was running out of time, and I
watched my movie today too.
Came home and was like, I got to plow through this one real quick. But no, I mean, obviously, from the get, you can tell from the opening. So this is a animated film, came out in 2019
on Netflix. I think,
on Netflix.
Right?
A little more stylized than your typical. It reminded me a little bit of like Kubo and the Two Strings, a little bit like not exactly that artsy.
The animation is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, from the opening credits where the letters drop immediately. Oh wow, this is something different, and that kind of carries through all the way. Like it's a beautiful movie, and it's a great story. The voice acting, sure, there are some famous people that lend their voices, but it's not stunt casted at all. J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus.
I think it is great as Santa.
He's amazing. Yeah. And the ho is like, wait, that's how you laugh? So it's an origin story, a separate origin story of Santa Claus about a young, privileged asshole kid whose father is a postman and postmaster general, and wants to send his son to the worst place on earth, basically, to start a postal service as kind of punishment.
Because he's frustrated.
He's like, you're either going to do this or I'm cutting you off completely. So he sends them up to basically the Arctic Circle to a town called something like Smithery Town or whatever it is. It's very, very gray. And one of the first voices that I heard that I was like, oh, Norm Macdonald plays the boatman that carries him across this like lake or whatever to this kind of island town. And my God, Norm Macdonald is perfectly cast as that character. He's such a dick. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Oh, no. You should see it in the spring. It's really warm. It's just the way he talks is amazing. So, yeah, of course, boy meets girl type situation. There's a family. There's two families that have been feuding for generations. And then it is eventually a story of redemption and loss, honestly. And grief and there's just a lot of growth for the characters, but it's not cliche. I want you to go out of your way this Christmas season and watch this movie, because not only is it beautifully done, but it tells an actually like a very, very good moral story, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it. And I really like that.
Yeah, it was one of those films that when we watched, we didn't expect it to have as much heart as it did.
Exactly.
And because you've seen a lot of films, especially, like Santa Claus origin stories, right? Obviously the Santa Claus, these kind of things. And I didn't expect, and what I liked about it is the origin story for it was pretty unique. It wasn't anything that we'd seen before. We love this film as well. My kids love this film. We watch it every year.
It's one of those, if you're an adult listening to this podcast right now, your kids are going to love it and you're going to love it.
Yeah, you obviously don't have kids. And
we strive for that, right? In this podcast, recommending things that everybody literally in the family would enjoy. And this is one of those it checks all the boxes.
Yeah, it's just really is wonderful. It's like just such a cool approach to the Santa Claus story, and just like giving him an origin that feels grounded, and like real.
And it's fun. It's very funny.
Yeah, it is very funny.
And to your point, Ben, there were some surprisingly emotional moments in here that I didn't expect.
I didn't see a lot of that, and I won't spoil anything because I really want you to watch this. But man, a couple times I'm like, I'm not tearing up at a stupid animated. You are. It's you.
You're dumb, not me.
Stupid.
But yeah, no, animation is beautiful. Voice acting is really great, and the story's just wonderful.
It's just a good movie. How about you, Nate? What did we force you to watch?
So my buddy Ben gave me a film that I hadn't seen, which I'd wanted to see. So that's always fun.
By the way, this is, and for those of you that maybe are newer to the show, Nate is a Christmas fanatic. So finding a Christmas style movie for him a little hard to do.
I watched like 4 Christmas movies this week of like of the dumb, like there's a couple on Netflix. There's one on free is it Freebie? What is the one? The
Quibi?
No. The one that I think the Weird Al one came out on. What is that one?
Oh, Roku.
I know, but they have a name for it. I think
Roku. The Roku channel is what it is.
Tubi?
Maybe there's a different one. Maybe it's
there's Tubi. There's Freebie. There's Fubo.
Because there was one there with.
Now you're just making shit up, Brad.
No, I wish I was.
There's Barco. There's Mixmax. There's Doggo.
I'm not kidding you. I've watched so many Christmas movies this week. It's ridiculous trying to find a good, like, Lifetime type Christmas movie. And I'm going to tell you this, did not find any this week, but I did watch a good movie that was recommended to me by my buddy Ben Conowitz. A film that I'm actually really surprised I haven't seen this. I do like rom-coms as well. And this is While You Were Sleeping, which was made back in the 90s, starring America's sweetheart, Sandra Bullock, who I'll say it. I love her. Yep. I just do. Even today, she's in a film.
She's in a film, no wrong. She's just she truly
like a fine wine, aged to perfection.
My word.
Yep. She's just so. And this is kind of at the height or at the beginning. So this is, I think, the first major movie she had after Speed. She had a made-for-TV movie come out in between. So this is kind of the one really early where her career was just becoming the biggest thing.
Because prior to Speed, she had like The Net. And like Love Potion #9.
Yeah, there
were some really like questionable.
Yeah, I mean, she was making stuff, but nothing that really rocketed her to star status. And then after this, I think A Time to Kill came out, which I loved as well. But this is the type of movie where you get why people fell in love with Sandra Bullock. She's so stinking lovable. I was gonna say charismatic, but she's certainly charismatic, but lovable is the word. You just can't help but fall in love with her. So the movie is essentially about she. Also, let me add, I love films. Any film that's set in Chicago. We're in the shadow of Chicago where we're at. I love Chicago. I love the city dearly, and so any film that I can actually recognize places in, which you can in this. She worked at a CTA station, I think, on Randolph. I think. And so she's working at a CTA station as a train worker, essentially, for those that don't know, and taking tickets, these kind of things. And she falls in love with this guy that comes and gets a ticket all the time, played by Peter Gallagher, and his name is Peter actually as well in the film. And he falls into the train, goes into a coma. She goes to the hospital. A nurse overhears her talking about how she was going to marry him because, again, in her mind, she had never talked to this guy really, but in her mind, she was going to marry him and have this great life, right? So it's overheard, and essentially a comedy of errors befalls them. So somebody thinks it, and then she's playing this part now.
It's like all those TV shows when I was a kid that I hated. Just tell the truth and it won't get any worse, but she won't.
Yeah,
and it just keeps getting worse.
It does, and then there's lots of comedy in that. The conflict in the film comes when Bill Pullman, who plays Peter Gallagher's younger brother, he comes into this situation and she falls in love with him. Legitimately falls in love with this guy. And so she's got this farcical relationship with a guy who comes out of coma, doesn't know her, right? And they're like, oh, you must have amnesia kind of thing. And then she's got this real love, but now she's caught in this bind, right? It all blows up at the wedding.
What?
Obviously. But at the end, because again, it's one of those films where you think they're going to fade to black and nobody wins. Everyone's just going to lose out on this. But at the end, Bill Pullman, God bless him,
God bless Bill Pullman,
comes in and there's a happily ever after with them. I really enjoyed this film. Honestly, it was just and you had said, Ben, in our text thread that it might not be super Christmassy. It felt Christmassy to me.
Because it takes place over the holidays, enough. So there's enough tangential relationship there because for you, I had to find something.
Yeah, no, but I really enjoyed it. And again, rom-coms are great around Christmas. So
at any point in the film, did any character say like, wait, when did all this happen? And then somebody got to say, well, while you were sleeping.
Actually, yes, at the end.
It does happen?
Yeah, it is at the end. I looked that up just to make sure because I'm like, I don't know if they did, but it was at the end. And it was, when did you fall in love? And it was while you were sleeping.
Gotcha. Yep. The titular line.
Yep. So it's at the end.
All right.
Great film, though. I recommend it. I got, obviously, old film. It's from the 90s. If you're like me, didn't end up watching it when it was in the mid 90s, go back and watch it. It's worth it.
Brad, any other movies this week for you?
Nate, have you gotten a chance to watch Christmas with the Campbells yet?
I did. Actually, that was one I did watch this week that I liked.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
I liked it. I didn't think it was as good as maybe I was led to believe. I liked it though. Let me say this. I liked it. I went in
by who?
Let's be clear. I never said it was a great movie. I said it was very funny, and it's because of the juxtaposition
you have
of
it
Hallmark
number
holiday
3
romance
on your best of films of 2022. All right.
Oh my god, not even close.
This is just like Sausage Party, the funniest film of all time. Brad Oman.
So I do this to myself all the time. This is nothing you did, Brad. This is what I do. I hear a good review, and I go in, and my heart is a flutter. Right, and I'm ready for a great Christmas movie, and it was very good. It wasn't great; it was very good. I wanted some more play on, because I've seen so many Hallmark movies. And it's silly to call it Hallmark movies because that whole industry now is being copied by Peacock, by Netflix, by Amazon. That whole cheesy B-list actor film around Christmas is everywhere now. And why is it everywhere? Because people watch them. They're like me. They watch those films. I wanted it because there are so many tropes in those films, and the movie does a good job of playing off some of them. I wanted some more. I really did. I thought the acting was great. Justin Long was fantastic. It was very good. I'll say this. I highly recommend watching it this Christmas season. There are plenty of vulgar parts to it because, again, what they essentially do is, as Brad had said on a previous episode, they wrote a Lifetime Hallmark Christmas movie, and then Vince Vaughn and Peter Billingsley got their hands on it. And
they injected R-rated humor into it, but without changing anything about the fundamental heart or story of the Hallmark movie, even down to the look. It looks and feels like a Hallmark Christmas movie. The generic score in the background, the endless Christmas decorations everywhere, the very neutral cinematography,
the plot that clearly has a lot of holes in it. There's no way this would happen.
I love this so much because when Brad recommends a movie to Nate and says it's good, and then Nate goes, "This is probably going to be a Casablanca," and then he watches every time, and then he's let down, and then I get to come in and swoop in and go, "Cool, bar is set low," and then now I enjoy it.
You will.
So I am the benefactor here of this relationship, and I'm all here for it, guys. I just keep doing it.
And please don't listen to my tepid review. It was very good. I enjoyed this film. It was the best.
Take it back, Nate.
It was the best Christmas film I went in thinking though that this would be on my list of top 5 Christmas movies of all time, as Brad told me it would. He led me to believe.
Supplanted, It's a Wonderful Life.
He didn't say those words, but they were in between lines
because of the implication.
Yeah,
and here's the thing. I will say I laughed more at Christmas with the Campbells than I did at either A Christmas Story Christmas or Spirited.
Or It's a Wonderful Life.
Because I watched Spirited over the past week as well.
Spirited is great.
I like Spirited.
No, I liked it. I think it's a very enjoyable movie. I do think that it is a tad too long. And I with having two people like Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, I wanted it. I was expecting it to be a bit funnier. I love the message that it has. I love its modern approach to A Christmas Carol, where like it creates this concept of where like you don't have to be a perfect person, you just have to try to be better. I like how it has a meta take on it, and it still has this very
quality. I got to say to this. Okay, good afternoon. Okay.
Okay, let me say something to this. So my son is in A Christmas Carol right now. He plays Tiny Tim in our local community theater, and
whoa, humble Brad.
yeah. And so I've now seen the play 3 times all weekend. And I do actually have a better appreciation for Spirited now I've seen it. But there is a scene where I didn't realize. So I knew Good Afternoon was a thing right? But there is a scene where Scrooge says Good Afternoon. It's when the people are asking for money, and then his nephew comes in and everything. He says that at least 20 times. At least 20 times.
It's because it's a take on I Said Good Day, Sir.
Yeah.
And I said Good Afternoon.
So I never really caught that when I watched, the film. And then I saw the play. I'm like, oh, so this is really it's an absurd amount of times to say good afternoon.
Right. So they ran with it.
I appreciated the song more.
Dying laughing when that song came. I mean, that's one of the funniest songs I've seen in quite some time. I was and maybe it was because I was watching it with friends and their kids, and we were just having such a good time anyway. But man, watching it in a little group was awesome. We were loving the songs. I'm not the biggest musical guy in the world. I liked this because. And Brad, maybe you can speak to this a lot more than I can. I mean, Nate as well. Typically, like if you watch Chicago, how much dialogue to music or like singing dialogue is there? It's not 50-50. It's heavier on the musical, right?
It depends on the musical.
Because I say that because I'm asking that because Spirited felt really 50-50. Like it felt like a movie with a lot of songs in it and not necessarily a full-blown musical. Is that fair?
No. Spirited feels like a full blown musical for sure. It's got a lot of songs in it. I would say Chicago is probably also on the same level because there's a lot of just dialogue scenes in Chicago, but there's a lot of music too. But it's not.
Whereas
not
the musical like Hamilton is just almost all singing.
Yeah, or Les Mis.
Yep, almost all.
Yeah, so that's what when I was going into this. I was thinking, I'm not going to love this. I like musicals that do have some more dialogue to them, just to kind of set up between the songs. And when it's all singing all the time, it is harder for me.
I get that. Yep.
So no, that's maybe why I really, really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I just wasn't absolutely in love with it.
Well, I watched a movie that was not a musical, but it was Christmas themed, and it was called Violent Night.
Oh, you saw it?
Oh, nice. I'm hoping to see it this week. Yeah.
Worth it? I saw it opening night, and it was a violent night. The title absolutely tells you what's going to happen. My God, do they go over the top with the gore and the violence of this film? It's I will set the bar a little low because I was expecting it to be funnier and not funny just when the gore happens, and that's truly what they did. They're like, it'll be hilarious to watch the audience kind of react to these like really bombastic, actiony, violent scenes. And while we all were like, literally, my friend Zach and my friend Luke, friend of the pod Luke, we watched it together, and we in the theater, like we were doing that because it's a lot.
But it markets itself as an action comedy. Is it not?
They're relying on the action to provide the comedy.
All right,
and it happens, but the one-liners that Santa Claus gives, it's not anything to write home about. Nobody's a better action comedy than this, but because there's violent scenes in that movie as well, but for some reason it takes the comedy to a different level, in my opinion. That being said, I really liked it because it was just they went for it, man. They really went for it.
So is David Harbour a great Santa Claus?
Awesome. Oh my God, is he great? The character arc they have for him in the movie actually is pretty good as well. It's not just the same guy over and over again. He does grow a little bit, change a little bit, and there are some scenes where he definitely like makes a connection with the little girl that's a hostage. And I was expecting more out of John Leguizamo, to be honest with you. He doesn't chew the scenery nearly as much as I thought a guy. He plays the main villain, and he's got all the room in the world to chew scenery, and he really plays it not straight laced, but he doesn't do like what's the Redmayne from Jupiter Ascending, Brad, where he just goes crazy.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything even approaching that, which they probably would have let him, and he plays more of a nuanced bad guy. It's all right. That's fine.
I'm so excited to see this.
It's so fun.
It looks awesome. Now, Ben, how does this compare to your favorite Christmas movie, Fat Man with Mel Gibson?
Again, that's not my favorite movie. I gave that to you as an excuse so you could finally watch it. You've been talking to me off the air for a long time. I don't want to support Mel Gibson, but I really want to watch this movie. Is there any way you could you could give it to me as a movie
like,
that I have to
assign it
watch.
to me, then I can blame it on
Yeah,
you.
and so I appreciate that, Brad. We should have this conversation later. Fat Man, by comparison, which I have seen Fat Man, way less heavy on the actual brutal violence.
Yeah. Take Mel Gibson out as a film. Which one did you like better?
Violent Night, for sure. Yeah, they should have done more in Fat Man that they did in Violent Night. Okay. That's what they set the movie up to be, and then they kind of fell flat in a few areas where it's like, okay, yeah, it's if that's gonna be your premise, go all in. And Violent Night goes all in. I mean, there's severed heads, there's freaking vomit on people's faces. It's just crazy. There's a level there that they're trying to get to. There is a particularly great scene that honestly is not spoiler at all, there where they try to set a few Home Alone style traps. And it really plays, those are the biggest laughs in the movie, I think, for me personally, because there are real world implications for things that if you tried to do that to the Home Alone guys, we've seen those memes 1,000 times. What would really happen if an iron hit him in the face? Well, now you get to see it, and a lot of it. And it's, man, the way they crafted that scene and all the violence, so freaking good. So good.
It makes sense because it was written by the same people that did Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh, of course. That makes perfect
sense. And Sonic the Hedgehog has tons of brutal violence.
Brutal violence. Did you see his teeth?
Boy!
Hey, what else did you see, Brad? Anything else good? Did you watch a film on the plane ride out to Utah?
I didn't actually, because I had my phone and I didn't. It wasn't the kind of flight where they have screens in the seats, and I didn't want to watch anything.
You did a Spirit Air, didn't you? Huh? Did you do it?
Wait, you didn't have a plastic bag?
Having fun.
Bringing back old jokes.
Yeah, so I didn't watch anything new on the plane, but I did go to the theaters earlier this week to see The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes, we reviewed that, or we talked about that on this podcast. How was it?
It's fantastic. It's the new movie by Martin McDonagh, who previously directed In Bruges with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, and they are back together again in this movie. It's set back in the 1920s in this island called Inisherin in Ireland, and follows Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell, who are friends. But suddenly, Brendan Gleeson decides he doesn't like Colin Farrell anymore, and he doesn't want to be friends with him, and tells him to leave him alone.
Is it played funnily, or is it like more?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of funny things in it. It's more of a dark comedy, I guess you could say. It's kind of in the same tone as like in Bruges as far as the comedy is concerned.
And I love that movie. In Bruges is great.
Yeah, no, this was very funny. Like, honestly, this is funnier than like some comedies try to be. And a lot of it's just because Colin Farrell is so good at like being just kind of like incredulous and like what's going on?
Like why don't you love me anymore?
Yeah, so like Colin Farrell, man, he's so good in this movie. Honestly, he's had such a great year between this and the Batman and After Yang. Like, he's ever since they tried to stop making him an action hero, he's just had the most interesting career.
Because he's a person that can actually act.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
I feel like it was for a while they were just trying to.
Did you guys see The Gentleman?
No.
There's
another great Colin Farrell role.
What's the Guy Ritchie movie?
Yes.
Yes, he's great in that.
Phenomenal in that movie.
But yeah, so this and even like the supporting cast too. Barry Keoghan, who's in this, who was in the Eternals, and he played the character that is essentially supposed to be Joker in the end scene of the Batman, and Carrie Condon, who plays Colin Farrell's sister. And it's really funny. It's this great like a portrait of like friendship and like what it means to like be nice and what that does for people and like how people deal with depression. And it was just outstanding. And beautiful cinematography as well. Like the way they shoot this island and like all of its misty glory it's amazing.
Yeah, I have heard, again, all these actors are Irish actors, so it is kind of a love story to Ireland as well, because there's this wonderful cinematography for Ireland. But hey, I have a question for you. So Carrie Condon is a member of the MCU. What does she play?
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Is she one of the golden people in Guardians?
No.
Oh, that's a good guess, but no.
She's got to be the voice of somebody, probably. I'm not sure. Who is she?
She's the voice of Friday. Good guess, buddy.
There you go.
Why did you say she's got to be the voice? Because you just don't recognize her.
Yeah, knowing what she looks like, I'm like, I've never seen her face before, and so like it has to be a voice role.
Yep, she's the voice of Friday.
I'm a little embarrassed that I when I saw the trailer for The Banshees of Inisherin, I didn't know that it was a period piece. I just, for some reason, I think of Ireland and like that's what people look like in Ireland today.
People in Ireland have always lived in
They
these
just look like they're just
villages with
they
hot
still make
stone
their
houses.
Well, I visited there a couple of years ago, and honestly, they kind of do. Like when you're not in Dublin, they are in these quaint little kind of mountain towns, and everybody's kind of wearing wool.
Protestants and Catholics are still fighting.
They're still caps like they wear. I mean, they're not. It doesn't look like
still sheep running around.
I'm not joking. I'm not. You're not wrong. I mean, it sounds like we're making fun of them, but I'm not. It's just it hasn't
That's why
really.
I want to go to Ireland.
Nowadays, it would be like you'd watch Brad. You'd watch this movie, and if it was set in 2022. The only thing that would be different is that every once in a while, an actor would take a phone out of their pocket and then put it back. But that's probably the only difference.
So, Brad,
it's funny that you say that, because while I was watching it, I did wonder how fun it would be to do the exact same premise, but set it in a modern setting and see how it would like change and what you would do with it. And I think you could make a really good comedy if you did that.
I think there's a scene in this updated version where you just like. Colin Farrell's character texts Brendan Gleeson's character over and over again. There's just no reply. Like that's the kind of stuff that people would do these days, right? Like what's going on? You're right. I think that would be ripe for something modern. Speaking of that, I was in the theater watching trailers, and we haven't covered this on the podcast, and I don't know if we will. But I guess it's from the makers of Searching. Have you seen that new trailer, Brad?
Yeah. So it's called Missing, right?
Yeah. And so I saw this trailer, and if you don't know what Searching is, it's a missing persons movie, but it's filmed through the lens of technology. So everything is either on a FaceTime or on a cell phone video.
They call this subgenre screen life. And so like everything you see is on a computer screen or a phone or a tablet or a security camera or
I'm not going to lie
like
to you guys. I've pushed away from these movies because I don't love them because
have you seen Searching?
No, but I think we have talked about this film before, like not deeply, but we've mentioned it and you guys.
Yeah. Once Christmas
and
is
it's
over,
made me want to see this film because you guys talk so
it is solid.
Well,
it is. Nate, I want to be the first to say, okay, it's not the best movie ever made.
It's not.
But
Christmas with the Campbells.
It's okay.
It's a solid thriller though, especially based on the confines of like the format of the storytelling. So once Christmas is over, we'll definitely assign this.
So this new trailer is made by the same people, and it's a very similar I'm sorry, the subgenre again, Brad.
Screen life.
So it's in the screen life genre. It still looks good. It doesn't look as good as Searching. It looks a little bit more horror-y. But man, I still am down for that. It's the first time in a long time I've been to the theater and seen previews, so that's why I just brought that up. It's like, there's a new movie coming.
Hey, Brad, going back to the Banshees of Inisherin, would you put that on your top 10 list probably of the year next to Christmas with the Campbells or what?
I think that it has a good chance of being on my top 10. I still have a handful of movies that I need to see that are coming out here.
Avatar.
Towards the end of the year and stuff that I need to catch up on. But yeah, I think that it has a good chance of ending up there. But I always have to like take stock of everything I've seen and make a list of everything that I knew I loved, and then figure out which of the ones like I really truly have stuck with me and that like I love the most. So we'll see. Hey Nate, do you think it's time to have a little bit of trailer talk?
What are we doing here, folks? Let's do some trailer talk.
Hey, you know what I want to do? I want to talk about trailers with you and you. That's Ben and Nate, my good friends. And we're going to talk about trailers to the very end.
Oh, my God.
Very end.
Trailer talk.
Yeah.
See, Ben?
We tried. All right. We're gonna talk about trailers to the very end.
Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes there's some dry seasons for trailers. There's a lot of great trailers coming out right now. I mean, we have a text thread going on between the three of us, and we share trailers back and forth. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming out that I'm excited about. So, there was I think some Comic-Cons and stuff like that, right, Brad? That got released.
This past weekend there's this thing called CCXP, which is Comic-Con Experience, and it's basically Brazil's own version of the San Diego Comic-Con. And they typically show some big stuff there for the first time, much like they do at San Diego Comic-Con. We'll talk about the two big trailers that came out a bit later. Let's start with one though that some people are probably hearing about for the first time, and it's such a wild premise. It's called Cocaine Bear.
So first things first, the fact that Nicolas Cage is not in this film is just beguiling.
Shocking.
So go ahead and tell the people what the story of this is.
Yeah,
Wait. This true story.
Yeah, this
is
true
about-
story.
Yeah, it is surprisingly based on a true story that happened. So this is essentially a black action comedy thriller that follows what happens in Georgia in the 1980s, the small town where a bear accidentally ingests a huge ton of cocaine and just goes on a rampage, and people are trying to stop it, and they simply can't. It is produced and directed by Elizabeth Banks, who you might know from movies like The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, this is not
Zack and Mary make a
her, by the
porno.
way. I'm very excited to see what she does with this because this is not. She usually does a pretty traditional comedy. And so I'm excited about this.
I will say I'm more curious than anything because I don't think she's a particularly great director, to be honest. She did the Charlie's Angels reboot, and she directed Pitch Perfect 3, I think it was. Maybe it was 2.
The worst of the Pitch Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't that great. I personally like to pretend that there aren't any Pitch Perfect sequels because the first one is really good and the sequels are not very good. But the cast in this movie is insane. Kerry Russell, Osage Jackson Jr., Alden Ehrenreich, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Margot
Reese.
Martindale, Ray Liotta, yes, Matthew Reese. Just a great ensemble cast.
So then
Ray
why,
Liotta's final film, by the way.
So then why didn't they spend any money on the production?
What are you talking
I mean,
about?
yeah, what do you mean? It doesn't look cheap.
It looks cheap to me.
No,
It does.
I think the visual effects still need a little bit of work, but I hardly think it looks cheap.
I'm not even talking about the bear. I'm just talking about like the overall cinematography. It looks very much
Well,
like a Sharknado movie.
I kind of thought that they're going
I
for
don't
a
think
little
so.
bit of a even in their marketing, they're kind of marketing as this. I don't even know how to describe it, but as a
To me, it feels like they're going for like a 1980s kind of
absurdist
crime
kind
caper
of
in a way. Yeah.
Yep.
And here's the other thing is the other producers on this movie are Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Well, now I'm back in.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Who you should trust implicitly. These are the producers behind the 21 Jump Street series, the Lego movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
They don't
Cloudy
miss.
with a Chainsaw
Yeah,
Meatballs.
they really just don't miss. Those guys are
they're gold.
Yeah, they just have impeccable taste, and they really know how to deliver like a stylized, fun movie that just hits on every level.
So there is a book on this that was written first, and
Nerd.
again, no. So this is really fascinating because it's so funny. So I watch this, and where my mind and heart goes is the bear dies, right? Because the bear becomes
spoiler alert!
no. The bear becomes a cocaine addict, and so the bear dies. This is the story, and this is essentially the story about the bear, right? And I start feeling bad about this because the bear dies. And I'm like, oh no, I don't want to watch a bear spiral out, and
Spiral out. He lost his job.
I
start feeling bad.
His cubs don't call him dad anymore.
Yes.
Nate, I gotta tell you, if you don't want to watch a bear spiral out, then you don't want to be friends with Ben Connell.
Come on. Come on. I'm sitting right here, Brad.
But I can't tell you, I am so excited about this film. It's just so absurd. The story's absurd. Obviously, they're going to flourish it a ton, but it should be fun.
Yeah, I don't think that the true story included a bear like climbing a tree after a kid and killing him and ripping him in half. I don't know that any of that happened, but it's definitely a fun premise. I'm not over the moon with the production design so far, but obviously there's room for improvement there. But again, once you said that Lord Miller involved, okay, I'm back in.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I like I said, I'm still not confident in Elizabeth Banks's skills as a director, but this does look like fun. I think it could be cool.
Hey, watch it just to honor the late Ray Liotta.
There you go. That's true. And on a side note, if you also want to honor the late great Ray Liotta, watch the Apple TV Plus series Blackbird. It is spectacular.
I've heard of this. What is this? Is this a period piece?
It is. Yeah, it's set in the early '90s, I think it is, and it takes place.
Well, then that's not really a period.
I mean, it is actually.
It is now.
I know.
Hey, that's 50 years ago.
But yeah, it prominently takes place in Indiana. It's based on a true story. Taron Egerton is the lead in it, and Ray Liotta plays his father. And it's a crime thriller, prison informant kind of story, and it's very, very good. You guys should definitely take a time to watch it if you haven't. So yeah, Blackbird, Ray Liotta, and we'll see Cocaine Bear soon. When's it come out, Nate?
It comes out in late February, I think. Yeah, February 24th.
That was also a trailer that we watched before Violent Night, And the three of us, Luke and Zach and I looked at each other like, next movie date, like that's definitely one we want to go see in the theater.
Awesome. So now let's get into the big trailers from the week, and we'll start off with Marvel movie territory. We finally got the first trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, hot on the tails of the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. And man, this one looks like a doozy, huh, guys?
Guys, I am so sad about this. I am honestly, I'm heartbroken about this. This seems like a finality for me, right? I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the characters. I love James Gunn with all my heart. I really do. James Gunn talks a lot about how he connects deeply to Rocket. He writes Rocket's character essentially like he's writing it himself. Obviously, in the trailer, you see something with Rocket going on. There's lots of rumors about some characters dying. One of them maybe being Rocket. And James Gunn's going to DC. His time at Marvel is coming to an end.
At least for now.
At least for now. But we've talked about how, for the three of us, Marvel has played a fairly significant role in our movie enjoyment over the last 10 to 15 years. It just seems like a chapter is ending for me, and it saddens me. I'm very excited about this film. It looks very good. I think it's just going to be a fantastic film. But I'm also just saddened. I know when it releases that the chapter's over for me. With James Gunn, with Marvel, for now anyway, like you said, with these characters. And so I don't know. It was. Plus, I love Space Hog. The song that they used. The trailer was beautiful. I really loved it.
Used incredibly.
Some of the other characters have said, Dave Bautista is like, I think it's time for me to move on from this. Nobody needs a 70-year-old Drax. And so
which for him will be like 5 years from now.
Yeah. No, he is. He's honest about it. I'm getting older, right?
And that's really sounded shitty. I didn't mean it to sound shitty. He is just an older actor now. He's not 20.
He got famous old.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so.
James Gunn himself has said that this movie will be the end of the story arc for this iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which obviously Marvel can do what they want to. Marvel can do what they want to, with the Guardians of the Galaxy as a franchise. There in the comic books, there are various versions of this team with different characters, and the credit scenes for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 showed us one of those other teams that featured characters who have been in the comics before. Yeah. And so, there's always a chance they could continue. But once the Guardians, this story one is done, though, I do wonder how they're going to, continue the cosmic side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because obviously we have the Marvels, the Captain Marvel sequel on the way. We have the Eternals, which we haven't gotten confirmation that there is a sequel happening there yet. But, the Guardians are
I thought we did get confirmation that Eternals is coming again. Eternals.
As far as I know, an Eternal sequel
might be right, but I thought
has not been officially announced.
All right.
Yay!
But yeah, so it's we just don't know what's going to happen after the Guardians are gone, and how they're going to fill that void on the cosmic side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out here as time goes on. But yeah, and I'm going to make a prediction. I don't think they're going to kill Rocket. I do think they're going to kill Drax, because I think that killing Drax is the perfect ending for his character, because it means he gets to be with his wife and I think it was daughter, right?
Yep.
Who were killed by Thanos. And since he didn't get revenge on Thanos, I think that's probably the best exit for him, is to give him some kind of meaningful death.
I thought they were killed by Ronan.
They were killed by
yes,
Ronan.
Yep. You're right. Sorry about that. And so, Nate, to answer the text that you just sent me to try and tell me that.
No, I was just that I wasn't telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying that.
No, I know. Yeah,
that's where I got that.
Also, I will say Patton Oswalt seemed to indicate that there probably might be an Eternals movie on the way. Whether or not he knows for sure, or if he's just guessing based on like the fact that they probably talked about ideas and plans and whatnot. For those who don't know, Patton Oswalt voiced the character that you see alongside Harry Styles in the credit scene of Eternals, Pip the Troll. And so, we'll see what happens.
The thing about this Guardians 2 is there is so much drama behind this final film, right? James Gunn got fired from it.
Wrote it.
Yeah, he
got fired for it.
Got hired back. And in the time that he got fired, he went and made Suicide Squad. DC fell in love with him, right?
How do you
hired
not?
him as is he essentially the next Kevin Feige for DC? Is that what his role is?
I mean, Yeah, I mean, essentially, he's going to be overseeing and shepherding what happens with all of the DC movies and TV shows from here on out.
And I love Suicide Squad and I love Peacemaker. So I mean, kudos. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be great for us that enjoy. James
also,
Gunn.
do you think this, and maybe this is just too big of a swing for two giant corporations, but does it mean that maybe down the road you could see Gunn and Feige getting together and be like, listen, what about DC versus Marvel?
There's never been a better chance, right, between the two.
Yeah,
they like each other.
James Gunn has, talked about how much he would like to make that happen.
Like Batman versus Iron Man. Could you imagine? Like just that type of shit.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they could do Iron Man since they killed off, Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, I mean, however they choose to do it, it would be a huge thing. It would be crazy if they were able to pull it off, and nothing is off the table because at one point people were like, oh, there's no way they can do, Civil War on the big screen. And there's no way that they could ever do the Infinity Saga on the big screen.
There's no way they could make two different variations of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
and yet we were so lucky to get two.
But yeah, so it's nothing's off the table, and I'm down to see whatever James Gunn does.
I tend to agree with you though about you had mentioned before that you don't think it's Rocket. I think the first trailer, James Gunn does do something, and trailer makers as well, right? Where they'll try to lead you down a path in the trailer.
Anytime you're going to show me young Rocket and then morphing into old Rocket, Rocket's gonna fucking die. I mean, it's gotta be.
I can't remember if I tweeted it or something where it's like, here I am late at night watching a trailer of a raccoon / I know he doesn't like to be called a raccoon, but it is Rocket Raccoon.
He prefers Trash Panda.
That doesn't exist, and I'm crying.
Yeah. No, James Gunn is probably almost uniquely qualified to take the silliest premise in the world with the most ridiculous characters and truly make you feel.
Yeah, he makes you care. He makes you care about outcasts.
Not even, but it's not just outcasts. It's outcasts that are physically repulsive or weird or different. That it's not just being the sad kid at the table. A lot of directors have made that movie, but this is completely because it's an action comic book movie, and then you're still feeling those feelings. Like it's a true talent.
Should be a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm excited
I'm
about
super
this.
Pumped.
Comes out May 5th, if anybody wants to know. So we got some time. I'm sure there'll be another trailer or two that comes out before then. We'll try to
I'm probably not going to watch them. I just like to go in after the first one. Good.
Speaking of another first trailer, we have the trailer for the new Indiana Jones movie, which also finally has a title.
And
Indiana Jones.
Dial of Destiny.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, you try it, Brad. See what you would do with that one.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, I like that. Was a nice little play there. What about you, Ben?
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
You went with me?
Okay, that's just a try. That's just a try hard.
What?
Come on. What are you doing?
All right. All right. I got a different one. Take two. Okay. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
There we go. Yes.
Hey, Yoda.
I would love
Destiny of the Dial.
But yeah, so this is super exciting. So this is actually the trailer pretty much exactly, except for I think a couple bigger action shots maybe that they played at the D23 Expo back in September, I think it was. But yeah, so I was very excited to finally have everybody else see this trailer so they can get a look at what is coming for this Indiana Jones movie, because this one's not directed like Steven Spielberg like all the other ones. It's directed by James Mangold, who directed Logan and 3:10 to Yuma and some other movies.
He's done a couple things.
Yeah, but it feels like he has really captured the spirit of Indiana Jones and some of the directing style and flourishes of Steven Spielberg. And this looks like an improvement, at least just based on the trailer, in every way over Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even mad at the de-aging stuff. It didn't look bad compared to it's Uncanny Valley a little bit, sure. But
I think it looks really good. The only part I think that needs a little bit of adjusting still is just around the eyes a little bit. I think they'll perfect it by the time the movie is out.
Well, Harrison Ford has always been dead behind the eyes, so it should be pretty easy to do.
Oh boy.
Hey, so obviously, Ben, I think one of the Indiana Jones films is one of your top 10 films, right? No, you don't love it?
It's not mine.
Okay.
No, it's me.
It's you. Okay, so you love. Okay, so. What do you think about this? Harrison Ford has said essentially that when he dies, Indiana Jones dies with him. Do you think that should happen, or is this a character that should live in infamy? Should we continue going in perpetuity.
First of all, he should not live in infamy.
First of all, I think Harrison Ford's probably going to die before they reboot Indiana Jones. So I guess he'll be right.
No, but he's saying like it'll die with me. Like they'll never. I am him.
No. I know. I think that first of all, he has no control over
exactly.
That. So,
it's such a weird thing to say.
Disney knows Indiana Jones, and Lucasfilm knows that Indiana Jones is one of their staple characters. And so I don't think that they'll be done with Indiana Jones forever. I definitely think they will give the character a rest, but they're already talking about
Shia LaBeouf
expanding the Indiana Jones universe by doing a TV series that won't feature Indiana Jones. And it's not anything that is like the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, the TV show that aired in the early 90s. But Disney Plus is apparently developing one, and I think it's supposed to focus on I'm forgetting the name of the character, unfortunately, but yeah, so it will not feature Indiana Jones. It will focus on it'll take place
for like Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, or
no, they're not doing a passing of the torch. I want to say that it's like one of his
it's going to be called Danger Things, and it's going to have a group of precocious children that all have whips.
Danger Things. I mean, it sounds pretty good to me.
I'm not taking a hard pass.
This is also. Did you guys read this? That this is also John Williams' final score.
Yes,
did he die?
That is true.
No, he's done.
He's retired.
Well, he's 95.
Yeah, he's old.
He's old.
But somebody that's had such a integral role in the soundtracks and the scores that we've all loved.
Oh yeah.
It's another thing that kind of saddened me.
The problem for composers is that nobody knows. Like a few people, obviously Brad and his ilk know, and even tangentially we know because we watch a lot of movies, but the general public has no idea the impact that he has had on their movie going experience. They just don't know.
I feel like he's one of those people that actually exists in the public vernacular.
No, they do more than most, but still, your average moviegoer. No.
I mean, I don't know. I think I agree that like probably like it's not somebody where everybody knows his name, but John Williams is one of like maybe 2 or 3 composers who is famous enough and has written enough music that people know the themes that like people do know his
name. And Danny Elfman. Maybe,
here's the issue that I have with that.
Yeah.
Yes and no. You could say, do you know that who is John Williams? And like maybe 30 out of 100 adults will say he's a composer, right? And then you could play a very famous theme and say who wrote this, and like 1 out of 100 would get it. Like they don't know which ones he's written.
I don't know.
I'm gonna do it. That's the next trivia.
But anyway,
we are bringing 100 people into the studio and we are asking them.
So, and to follow up to it's rumored that the Indiana Jones series would be a prequel that follows Marion's father, who is Karen Allen's character from Raiders of the Lost Ark, who was like a fellow adventurer.
So then when the first movie Raiders takes place in like 1920 something
like that,
and so this one will take place in 1994 because he's now 89 years old. He's like when does this actually take place?
Well, if you look at the details of the trailer, you'll see the ticker tape parade in there that indicates that it's happening after the Apollo 11 moon landing, and so that happens in what year, Ben?
1969.
Yes, that is correct. Good job. So yeah, that's when this movie is going to be taking place. Honestly, if they keep Indiana Jones going by doing this Disney Plus series thing, I just wish that they would just let Ke Huy Quan pick up the torch, not as Indiana Jones, but let him be adult Short Round and have him be an adventurer like Indiana Jones. He's on a huge comeback because of Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's really riding this wave. So like give him an Indiana Jones show.
Yeah.
There was one thing about this trailer that I struggled with. There was a line in the trailer. Did you guys notice the line?
Go ahead. I don't know what you're talking about. So no.
Yeah. It's not so much what you believe, but it's how you believe it. That line drove me crazy. No, it's not how you believe something. Right?
No, doesn't he say
that's what like anti-vaxxers say.
No, it's not what you believe, it's how hard you believe it. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how hard you believe it. So yeah. It's not just what you believe, it's how hard you believe it.
Yeah, not how you believe it. It's how hard you believe it.
But it's not just what you believe.
Right,
it's how hard you believe.
Yeah, I get that though. Like it's
I don't know.
how convicted are you of that? I believe that apples are good for you.
I heard that as him saying like, believe what you want, just believe it with all your heart.
I look at it like apples are good for you, but do you eat one every day? Like,
Okay.
the
So you
commitment.
interpreted that differently. I interpreted it as somebody saying, "Hey, doesn't matter what you believe, just believe it sincerely." And I'm like, no, we don't need more of that right now. We don't need more of that.
Let me break in here because that's basically like saying in Rocky Balboa, Rocky says, for the 15th time, it's not when you get knocked down, it's that you get up again. We're not saying that to Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. There's probably a context we're missing here, where it's about kind of like a magical artifact or like some myth or something like that.
And it's funny because I had just been reading the news, I've been reading politics, and then I watched that trailer, and I'm like, I'm not sure like January 6ers need to hear this. Right?
Yeah, it's not meant for them, Nate. Much like I don't think it was really directed at Putin. Like Ukraine's not going good, but keep going. We're not saying that.
I Indiana Jones, I love you. I'm not sure if I agree with you right now.
It's so awesome that you took it that way. I love that so much.
But yeah, so Indiana Jones comes out next year. It's supposed to be Harrison Ford's last turn as Indy. And when does it come out, Nate?
I mean, he's going to be 81 when it releases.
Oh my God.
June 20th. So it comes out June 20th. Summer blockbuster. It's going to do great.
Yeah, it'll make what, 500 million?
Probably.
I mean, just domestically, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen how beloved Indiana Jones is worldwide, but it's going to do well here for sure.
I trust James Mangold. I do. I mean, the guy makes good movies.
It's the first Indiana Jones that doesn't have any George Lucas involvement.
So it'll be even better.
That's true.
Yep.
I mean, George Lucas was pretty good when it came to the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
He was involved in the last one.
In the 80s and 90s.
Is there anything else? We're done?
No. I just want to make sure we sat with Ben's nonsense.
I mean, come on. You just like you had carte blanche in the prequels and they were amazing? Get out of here.
Kirstie Alley died.
No one said that. You're talking about Star Wars, though.
Yeah, but it's same difference. Like if you give him free reign on Indiana Jones these days, he would have the same cuckoo bananas ideas and be like, yeah, that's probably how they got the monkeys.
Well, Steven Spielberg had free reign on Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and didn't work out too well for him now, did it?
Exactly. Neither did the Fabelmans. So let's move on.
You shut your dirty mouth. Hey, wait a minute. Have I seen the Fabelmans since
you have? Yeah. I was surprised you didn't.
God damn it! I can't believe I brought it up.
It didn't have that much of an impact on you. Is that why?
Yeah, just
you forgot about it already.
I completely forgot that I had seen it like since the last podcast. I thought I saw it and talked about it on the previous episode. Oh my goodness. Okay, stop the podcast. Hold on a second, guys.
Sorry, we've actually moved past it. You'll have to talk about it next.
Sorry, buddy.
No, that's not happening. I want to point out that Ben Conowitz lamented the fact that he just couldn't get excited about Fabelmans with our friend John Cessna, who said one of the most pretentious things that he's ever said.
And by the way, you're about to loop me in with John here, and I didn't do the pretentious.
You agreed. But you're making me
sound like I'm pretentious like that.
You agreed with what he said, and you know what? I'm going to quote him.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what it is that he said, so that you can understand
I'm
what
not
it is
excited
that you
for this movie.
with.
It's okay. I don't need to watch a guy suck himself off for 2 hours.
So that's the thing is that's not what he's doing, and that's what makes it truly great. So here's what John Cessna said: unpopular opinion, nothing is going to get me to care about the Fabelmans. Ben Conowitz, dude, I feel the same way.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
How much do you have to pay for that tweet?
50 cents. I got a green check mark. It's different. I don't care. I just don't care, Brad.
So what is great about Fabelmans is that while it could easily be this nostalgic walk down memory lane for Spielberg and chronicling how he fell in love with film, it's so much more of a reflective piece examining this family that was broken, and he didn't realize it until it was too late. And there's this rumination on what he does behind the camera, not Spielberg, but anybody. And like the power it wields, the way you point the camera at something, the way you shape it, and the story you tell, and why you tell it. And it's a story that's told not in a way where he's looking back fondly, but he's looking back in a way that feels therapeutic and reflective. Like he's working through stuff more than he ever has before. And after seeing this movie, it made me look at Catch Me If You Can in a much different light, because I feel like it's the movie that strays closest to the kind of family dynamic he had when he was younger, and how Spielberg like identified with Frank Abagnale Jr. because Catch Me If You Can is based on a real story.
Sure.
And Spielberg has always done stuff about his some issues that he had with his father and like broken family dynamics and things like that. But this was less nostalgic than I anticipated, and it really provides this different approach to like the idea of following your dreams as a filmmaker, because it digs into how difficult that really is, because in order to do that, kind of similar to what La La Land does, is like it's not just following your dreams and being happy about it, it's knowing that it's probably going to tear apart certain aspects of your life, and it's going to open up doors and windows that maybe you weren't expecting. But it's very, very well acted. It's beautifully shot. Michelle Williams is great as essentially the proxy for Spielberg's mother. Paul Dano is also fantastic in a more subtle way as his father. But Gabriel LaBelle, the guy who plays young teenage Steven Spielberg, man, this guy is awesome. Like it's a breakthrough performance. He's incredible in it, and it's a fantastic movie. This one will easily make my top 10. It's stellar.
I always put a caveat on your reviews of Spielberg movies just because I know how much you love the guy, and it maybe colors your vision of his movies a little bit. But I'm sure it's going to be very good.
I can't wait to see this. I
like to fuck around with you, Brad. But of course, I mean, it's going to be a good movie. It's going to be very solid. I am looking forward to it. I'm not in love with him as a filmmaker as much as you are, and so that's why it's hard for me to be that amped up for it.
That's actually the thing I think that I also love the most about it, is that even if this wasn't about Steven Spielberg, it would be a great movie, because there aren't a lot of winks and nods that this is about Spielberg unless you actually know Spielberg's life story. And so it's just as much a coming of age family drama about anybody as it is about Steven Spielberg. There are only like 2 or 3 things where he's making a little bit of like a cheeky reference to himself, and it's not even something that's obvious. It's something that like fans
like you would know.
Yeah, exactly.
I love post World War II era. Like I love 50s, early 60s films, and this is set in that era. So I wanted to see it as well. But I love Michelle Williams. I love Paul Dano. Have we decided what it is, Dano or Dano?
It's Dano.
Okay, but you say Dano. I really do. I love him so much. So the acting in this, how is the only one that makes me a little nervous? How is Seth Rogen in this film?
He's good. He plays Spielberg's basically like makeshift uncle. Like he's their family friend,
and he's not bad.
And no, not at all. He plays the role that like you that someone like Seth Rogen is good at playing. He doesn't like ham it up or anything like that, but he's supposed to be like a bit more fun and a bit like an uncle. He's good at it. And Judd Hirsch has a great
another guy I love. I love Judd Hirsch as well. So so the acting in this, the actors, the team involved makes me want to see this film. I love the era of this film, so I'm excited about it. I knew you would love it again because I know you love Steven Spielberg, but it didn't require me, because I'm not ambivalent. I like Steven Spielberg, but I'm not like you are with Steven Spielberg. And I still saw the trailer and thought, this looks great. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you will see it and you will love it, and Ben can sit in a corner.
I said I'm probably going to see it.
I mean, you'll probably have to see it because it's going to get a Best Picture nomination.
Oh,
that's a bold
claim there.
So that's the end of our reverse back to the movies that we've been watching, and now
now, hey, did you guys watch any trailers? There are 3 good trailers. There's just a lot of good trailers dropping right now, so it's hard to just talk about.
And there's a couple more we could have talked about too, but we'll save them for the next episode.
Okay. Sounds good. Brad, where can the people find you, buddy?
Always at slashfilm.com, writing and editing, and also tweeting still, because Twitter's still going at Ethan_Anderton, and Hive is dead for now, I guess.
I signed up and I got my information stolen.
I signed up and I added you, and that's it. Thanks for doing that, buddy.
So that's fun. So check out at Ethan_Anderton on Twitter, and also Nate Laux on Twitter, and Ken Bonowitz on Twitter. That's all of us.
All that, yeah.
On the tweets.
Help us out by rating the podcast. It was fun. I got to look at our kind of Anchor, where we host our podcast, does this kind of thing where it kind of tracks over the year, kind of like the Spotify lists have. Anchor is owned by Spotify, and it was fun to see how many new listeners we have this year. Quite a bit of you, and so it's been great. If you're a fan of this podcast, rate it. Please help us out. Share it. We want to keep on growing next year. It's honestly a ton of fun to hear from you on our Facebook,
And let's be honest,
Twitter.
we want this to be our full-time job. We want to just quit our lives and do podcasting.
I'm not doing this full-time. Within 6 months, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what? The gauntlet has been laid. You have 6 months to make us very popular.
Guys, I think we've been doing it for 6 months, so I think
Hey, stop it.
That's it. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?